All right, here we go. The big showdown. The Colt King Cobra Target 22 versus the Smith & Wesson 617. Both of these revolvers are in 22 long rifle, and they both have a 10-shot cylinder. Now, I got to make a little bit of a change here to make this a little bit more fair. These are not the factory grips. These are aftermarket. Let me change these out to factory. And there we go, back to stock form. Yes, two good-looking revolvers, unfortunately wearing some really ugly grips. Now, before I continue, keep in mind most of this is for fun. Sure, there'll be some data in here, but it's mostly just for fun, so just relax, all right? Don't get too uptight if the revolver you're rooting for happens to not win, because to be honest, either one of these will be a great addition to your collection. All right, let's get going here. Oh, also, I make no claims to be fair or unbiased here. I'm sure I'm going to throw in some categories and metrics that may not matter to you, but they matter to me. And since these are my revolvers and my video, yeah, I'm gonna score them on whatever categories I choose. Okay, first category, MSRP. I'm going with that because retail pricing is all over the place. So MSRP gives us a good foundation there. So MSRP for the King Cobra, $999, basically $1,000. MSRP for the Smith & Wesson 617, $979. Yeah, $20 difference, not a whole lot there to really make any kind of meaningful difference. I mean, if this was $20 and this was, or excuse me, if this was $40 and this was $20 difference between them, maybe that means something. But since both of these are basically knocking on the door of $1,000, that $20 difference between them, I'm going to call that negligible. MSRP, pretty much a tie. Oh, hang on a second. Forgot to do the safety check there. That's empty. And that's empty. All right. Next up, aesthetics. So obviously both guns ship with ugly rubber grips from the factory, so we're just gonna have to get past that. And I'm gonna have to go with the King Cobra. You know, it's got the vented barrel. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little biased here. I love the look of the vented barrels. Well, for the most part, there's some vented barrels out there that look horrible, but this one is not one of those. All right, that's a good looking vented rib. The Smith, don't get me wrong, good looking gun, but no vent. So as far as aesthetics, as far as the beauty contest goes, Colt King Cobra gets the win. Oh, just as an aside, another reason why the King Cobra wins the beauty contest, I love the logo on there. Yeah, King Cobra. That's just cool. Again, the Smith is a good looking revolver, but yeah, you know, just saying, King Cobra with that logo kind of beats, just this. Oh, look, 22 long rifle CTG. They don't even have 617 on the gun. That's not really Smith & Wesson's fault, though, because Smith likes to put the model number, right there on the inside of the crane. But anyway, yeah, overall, man, this is just a beautiful looking gun. Plus, it's got the high polish, stainless. And again, the Smith is not ugly, but man, King Cobra it's just a beautiful gun. Next up, barrel crown. Great target crown on the King Cobra. Yeah, I know it's a little dirty there, but obviously a very prominent crown. On the Smith & Wesson, once again, I didn't do a good job of cleaning that part there. It does have a crown. Again, might be a little hard to see. Let me get this flashlight in there. But it does have a very slight crown. It's there. But, in this price range, I like to see a big, prominent crown. And so the King Cobra gets another win. Okay, front sight. So the King Cobra comes from the factory with the red fiber optic. The 617 comes with that Partridge style or Target style front sight. It's all blacked out. Target shooters really like this thing. But, you know, when your eyes get older, they tend to like something that can be picked up a little bit easier. And for me, it's the fiber optic. So it's a tough call because, again, these sights on the 617 are very popular. It's just that the fiber optic is my personal preference. But here's where the King Cobra will notch another win. Easy to change front sight. You just loosen that grub screw inside that recess. This will pop right off. And if you wanted a Partridge or Target style front sight, you can do that. You can just put one on there. The Smith, however, see that pin right there? That pin. You got to drive that out, put in your new front sight, and guess what? The front sights they sell for the K-frames, they don't have that hole pre-drilled into the sight. So yeah, I hope you've got a drill press, or you have you've got really steady hands, because that's going to be real easy to screw up. So while you can replace that front sight, it is nowhere near as easy to replace as the King Cobra's front sight. So another win for the King Cobra. Okay, let's talk about the rear sight. Yep, big fail on the King Cobra. Sorry, but I don't know why Colt still does it like this. So for those who don't know, on the Colts, including, well, you know, the current wave of Colt modern day double action, single action revolvers, it is click adjustable for elevation, but weird adjustable for windage. You got to loosen that little screw right there, then make your adjustment here, and there are no detents or notches to feel. It just freewheels around, and then you got to guesstimate, you know, based on a number of turns or half turns or quarter turns. Then after you're done, tighten that back down. That is, wow. Talk about a horrible design. Smith & Wesson, okay. No surprises here. Fully click adjustable for elevation and windage. And yes, you can feel the clicks, detents, whatever you want to call it. You can feel it every time you turn, either windage or elevation. That's the way it should be done. Colt, are you paying attention? Anyway, Smith & Wesson scores a point there for the rear sight. Okay, let's talk about the hammers here. The Colt King Cobra is a Target model. It's called the Colt King Cobra Target 22. And it has a non-target hammer. It's got the slab hammer. Boo! 617, yeah, more of a target style. See how the spur flares out? It's not just a slab. So, hey, score another point for the 617. All right, let's talk about the chambers. No, not that chambers. So, King Cobra, I mean, you don't need recessed cylinders. This functions just fine without them, but in this price range, I'd like to see some recessed cylinders. And guess which of these revolvers has the recessed cylinder? That's right, or the recessed chambers would be more accurate. Yep, 617 has the recessed chambers. So another point for the 617. Okay, let's talk ergonomics here. On the Colts, you have to pull back on the thumb piece to bring the cylinder out. Now, after you've done this a while, of course, you know, you formulate your own technique, you know, for how you want to orient the gun, you know, to make that smooth transition. So you can train past this little weak point here. It's just not very ergonomic. But again, you know, you can train past it. That being said, pushing forward on the thumb piece, this is just so intuitive. You know, it's almost like you don't have to train for it. You know, it's just there. Boom. Such a quick and easy way to open up the cylinder. That's the way it should be done. So as far as ergonomics, the 617 scores another win. Time now for another episode of The Trigger Snob with your host, And whoa, hold your horses on the trigger snobbery here. I lost the little plastic ring for both of these guns, and I don't have any snap caps, so I'm not going to be dry firing these. I've heard from some people that the firing pin on the King Cobra does not actually impact the cylinder, and I believe this to be true, but that's not true for the 617. So what I'm going to do to try and make it fair, keep in mind, these shoot 22 long rifle. Usually when I do the trigger snobbery, I dry fire the center fire guns because, sometimes recoil can mask, can hide trigger dynamics. But these are nice all steel revolvers, nice weight to them. I'm shooting only 22 long rifle. I don't think the recoil is going to mask much of the trigger dynamics. We'll save the trigger snobbery for the range, and that'll be coming up in part 2 when I take these guns out to the range.